All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Facebook and YouTube Live here at East Central ISD. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications. Brandon Oliver, and we got an important episode tonight because we're going to be talking all about our seniors at East Central High School and what they need to know about the upcoming weeks because things are starting to wrap up. So we cannot talk about things that are going on at East Central without the principal himself, Shane McKay. And Mr. McKay, how are you doing?
Man, fantastic, Brandon. Thank you for helping us out with this event this evening. We got a lot of important information for the parents and the seniors.
Yeah, we do. A lot of ground to cover, so I'll let you go ahead and get us started.
Well, so buckle up, parents and seniors. We're going to cover quite a bit of information. So, Mr. Oliver, do you mind pulling up those important dates? So I want to go over just some things that are really important that we're going to be prepared for. The first thing is we're sending out information. In fact, we've already shared this with your students via email and in their Google Classrooms for their seniors or their senior classes. That on April 28th, we are going to have a panoramic picture, and it'll be at 6 o'clock in the evening in Hornet Stadium. I'll go over each one of these things here in a minute, but we really want to make sure that our seniors are there that evening, and we've been able to set up with the photography company to come that evening, and the students will be spread out in the stadium so we can be able to get our annual panoramic picture. So we're excited. I'm going to cover more details on that here in a minute. The other thing is the senior class has put out for rehearsal shirts because we are having an in-person graduation. One of the things that looks really, really sharp is when our seniors show up to rehearsal and they're either wearing the rehearsal shirt or they're wearing a black and gold East Central shirt. And we've had many comments over the last several years from other schools regarding that event. Then Balfour will be on campus from May 6th to May 7th, delivering their cap and gown. So there'll be more information about that. We'd have prom on May 8th. So if you haven't signed up or be prepared for that, we're going to be signing up starting next Monday. Then May 14th, we just need everybody to return their graduation guidelines back to their teachers, specifically their government, their economics teachers. Then we will have all their grades complete by May 19th. Again, all of our seniors are going to get this. So I want to kind of go over it. We're going to have graduation rehearsal on Wednesday, May 26th. At 7:30 in the morning at the Alamo Dome. And again, I'm gonna talk more about that here in a little while. And then the big day, May 29th on Saturday, we have our graduation ceremony starting at 9 a.m. in the Dome, and I'm gonna cover that at the very end. So really, really excited about being able to share this information with you.
All right, so what are we going to talk about? I think you were talking about the panoramic. Let's talk about the panoramic first.
Yeah, let's talk about panoramic. So we'll flash up one of the things we've shared with all of the students is Wednesday, April 28th, Hornet Stadium. Some things we need the students to know is because this is a picture that goes on the hallowed halls of learning here at East Central. We want to make sure that we dress for success. So our boys, let's wear collared shirts and ties. If you don't have a tie, we have plenty of extras. Girls, let's dress in our Sunday best. And from there, we highly, highly, highly encourage the ladies. I don't know why, but we always seem to do not wear heels. Nobody will see your feet anyway. So don't wear those heels. We're going to open the gates at 5:45. And part of that is to start getting our seniors lined up. Now, the big thing I want everybody to understand is this is a closed event. And what I mean by that is this is only for the seniors. Parents, they're going to share all that information. So if you show up or you drop them off, you can stay in your vehicle. But we're going to have a lot of staff that are going to be there to help get everybody lined up. Masks will be required the entire time. Physical distancing will be required. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's a really important event for us. And then the most important piece of that is after we take the picture, we're going to ask the seniors just to have a seat there in the stadium, and we're going to go over a lot of this information about graduation and rehearsal, and just kind of go over a few things about prom moving forward, just so we're all on the same page. Normally in a traditional year, we've probably have already had 3 major senior meetings to go over these things, and they pretty much can start mocking me or mimicking me because I've said so many things the same way every time. But we haven't had that opportunity this year. So it's a great opportunity for us to pull all of our seniors together, have a quick conversation about graduation, rehearsal, give them all the information they need. And then we're just going to ask them promptly to head back to their vehicles and head out. It is going to be one of the things when we had a big meeting about it with the staff that are going to be there, is this is going to be a great test run, not just for prom, but it's going to be a great test run for rehearsal. And it's going to be a great test run for graduation, just to see how disciplined our students are going to be able to follow the risk mitigation protocols. I know many of them are going to see some of their friends for the first time in person, and we're just going to have to do our very best to continue to monitor for our own safety moving forward. So that's Senior Panoramic next Wednesday night, Hornet Stadium. Gates will open at 5:45. We'll have a lot of staff that'll be there. Mask will be required. So go ahead.
Let me interrupt real quick, Principal McKay. We did have a question. Will the panoramic pictures be without a mask?
They, unfortunately, based on the numbers that we have, they will be with masks right now. That's right now, just looking at the whole perspective and what we're trying to do. Graduation, mask will be required until they go to cross the stage. But when they're with their peers, they'll have to have their mask on. So we're unfortunately going to have to treat it the same way when they're there. So yeah, unfortunately, we will have to wear their mask in it.
All right. And again, the Senior Panoramic, again, it's only for seniors, no parents, no outside guests at the particular event. I know, they'll want to be a part of it, but we're still in a pandemic. Whatever the case may be going on around us, but we are still in the pandemic. Jenny DeFee, she asked, will they get a Hornet mask?
No, ma'am, they will not. This is where if they have their own individual personality, obviously if it's school appropriate, they will. But no, ma'am, we're not getting all of our seniors the same mask. I feel like everybody's kind of masked out, and we didn't want to spend our dollars on masks. We'd rather spend our dollars on things to get prepared for graduation. I think that's where we decided to try to shift our funds. So that's a great question.
Paul De Leon asked, what if the student has to work and misses?
Unfortunately, every year, even when we do it in the normal school day, we have students that are absent, and we want to do everything we can. And that's why part of the reason why is hopefully between now and next Wednesday, they can make some arrangements with their workplace. But every year we usually have a contingency of about, 5 to 10% of our students who sometimes just can't make it because they're even sometimes representing the school at competitions. It's just, unfortunately, when you've got over 700 students involved in a class, there's always going to be some conflicts. We want to do the very best we can to accommodate, but that's about where we're at.
I know one parent asked, are Hornet masks available at the school?
Yeah,
there isn't.
Yeah, we don't have any for sale that are there.
And then I want to see, there was another comment that rolled in that was pretty good. And now it bounced up. Oh, so Maureen Dobler says, hey, senior art students, paint your face onto your mask. So that
I've seen those. They actually sell them. There are people that do. That's a pretty good idea. I actually like it. I do think there's a question about why did we not stick with the original plan. I'll be honest, why we're not going to stick with the original plan is we only had about 352 seniors actually either take their picture or submit their picture. And the company that was going to be doing that should have already had all of those. So there would have been about 400 seniors that would have not even had their picture. So this is an opportunity. The other thing that we're trying to do is create an opportunity for a senior meeting. So that's part of the reason why. Plus we'll always be able to look back, or they'll be able to come onto the campus in the future and walk and look and find the Senior Panoramic and look back and be a part of an event that may look a little bit different than all the other Senior Panoramics for histories to come. So it's Miss Lubianski said the Photo Booster Club is selling Hornet masks. That's great. That's great. But we really want to have an opportunity to have the majority of our seniors there, and that's the primary reason why we're going this route. Plus, also to have the opportunity to have the senior meeting.
All right. So, do we want to talk prom now?
Yeah, let's jump into prom. I just want to remind the seniors that we have this great event. You know, we've listened to the voices of our seniors and the parents, and have the opportunity. You know, last year seniors didn't have a prom. This year's we definitely, and I've been really proud of the junior class officers as well as the senior class officers. They did a great job too, keeping it a secret, because they knew for almost a month before we announced it, because I ran it by them. So that's some fantastic news that we have. So this Monday, starting at 8 o'clock, we will have the front doors of the school open, and we'll have some tables set up, and that's where prom clearance will begin. And we'll direct the students of where to go. Students will have to come on campus to do their prom clearance, and students will have to go through the stations. We will continue to follow risk mitigation. The first station, obviously, is they have to be passing all of their classes. Now, we're using UIL eligibility for this rule. And what I mean by the UI eligibility is if they're in an AP or a pre-AP course or dual credit course, they have to have a 60 or above. If they are on an on-level course, it has to be a 70 or above. So if they show they're passing their classes, they'll get signed off by the secretary, who will then pass the clearance on to the bookkeeper. There they can buy their ticket. It's one ticket per senior or even junior. It's $25 the first week. And then the last station will be, they'll get with our campus nurse, and our campus nurse is just going to verify that they have a consent on file. If they have a consent on file, they just going to be given a reminder, save the date, that on that Wednesday before prom, they're going to do COVID testing here in the Patterson from 3 to 5 p.m. If they're not in the file, they'll be given a consent form to take and fill out, and then they can come up to do the COVID test here. And to be honest with you, I would highly recommend it. It's painless. It's really quick. It's highly reliable. And we've been, as a district, we've done over 20,000, and it's been really good for us. But if they choose to do it on their own provider, we also provide some free resources that are in the city of San Antonio, but they will have to bring their negative COVID test to the day of graduation and show that to the nurse. And then on the day of graduation, first station will be proving that they have the negative COVID test. They'll get their temperature taken. Then we're going to make sure that they bought their ticket. If they still hadn't bought their ticket on the day of prom, they will be selling them there at the gate, but it'll be $50. And then from there, they sign some acknowledgments, and they'll get a bracelet, and they'll be able to enter into the prom. Now, I want everybody to look at the second date on there, Monday, May 3rd. We have a second week that we are going to be selling the tickets. If a student is not passing all their classes by April 26th, they've got a second chance to pick their grades up, and that will be by Monday, May 3rd. Now, if they come the week of May 3rd through the May 6th, they are going up to $35 a ticket. So again, the same UIL eligibility requirements will be there. And again, if they don't have the money at that time, they can buy the ticket, but they'll have to pay cash, and they'll have to do it at the gate at the day of prom, and it will be $50. I'll kind of do some explaining on a few things. The first thing is, because we did not have a prom last year, there was no carryover for any funds from the previous year. So our junior class officers did a great job. They put together a snap raise, and that money was to really do everything we can to upfront pay for the DJ, to pay for lighting, to pay for the food, because our culinary arts is going to be producing, I think, 4 savory items. They've got 4 sweet items, all the drinks, all the decorations, everything that's happening. So that's really helped, but we want it to be economically feasible for our kiddos. So that's the reason why we have the $25 fee. Normally, proms are way more expensive than that. I had somebody tell me that their prom tickets were $85 right now on their campus this year. It's another 6A. campus here in the city of San Antonio. So we wanted to make sure that kids would be able to afford it, but as well as that they're going to be here on campus and we're going to have a really good time that night. So I'm ready to answer any questions that may be about prom. Again, they have a 2-week window to buy their ticket, and then it'll be from 8 to 9 in the morning and then from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. And we'll continually make announcements and we'll ask our teachers to do it.
So Mr. McKay, we do have one question, and actually we have two, but they're both kind of the same. What if they have proof that they were vaccinated? Can that count, or will they still need COVID test results?
That is a fantastic question. In fact, we talked about it yesterday in the prom committee. And if they have proof of vaccination, according to our district nurses, the only rule is it had to be at least 2 weeks since the last vaccination before the date of the prom. So if they bring that, then that's all they'll need. So they should have their vaccination card, and that'll be what they need to be able to show. So they can either bring the vaccination card when they come to buy their ticket, and the nurse will sign off on them that they have that, or they can bring it to prom and be able to show that. So that's a great question about that. So I'm happy to hear that we have kiddos that are getting, their students are getting vaccinated. That's the only way that we can continue to try to prevent this spread, but as well as to try to tamper this pandemic down. So I'm vaccinated, my family's vaccinated. So I'm happy to hear that we've got students going to get vaccinated as well.
And again, I think we want to hit on the outside guests. Can outside guests come? Rosa had another question. Can students have a date that has graduated already, or maybe they're underclassmen? What are your...
We wanted to make sure that we could manage the variables that we can control. And the first thing that we made the decision is there will be no outside guests. Bringing people from the outside makes it really difficult for multiple reasons. They're not our students, and it's difficult to contact trace if there was to be some type of somebody were to test positive. And the other reason why is we really wanted to make it to be about the juniors and the seniors. So when we sent the announcement video out to the students and the community, we made them aware that we really want it to be for our juniors and our seniors. So we're recommending with them is come with some friends. If you've got a significant other that's at a lower grade level, or if you've got some that go to another school, just come with some friends and let's have a good time that night together with your friends from East Central, and get out on the dance floor and enjoy a great evening. That a lot of teachers are working really, really hard to make it a very special event that evening.
All right. So no outside guests.
No
sweeties in other grades.
No freshmen and no sophomores. This is really about our juniors and seniors. We want them to have a great time that evening. Plus, we also, we've had some proms that have, gotten close to 900 to 1,000 students who have been there. And that's obviously when we've opened it up and they're able to bring their significant others. But, we really wanted to make this about our upperclassmen and getting that experience.
Where will prom actually be held? Like the football field?
No, actually, we're going to use our kiosk area. So it's that open area that's between the football field and the main stadium. We've got about 14 trees that are going to be lit up with lights. There's actually a really nice flat area that there will be the dance area. We're going to have balcony seating on the upper balcony area that kids will be able to enjoy the prom from up there. All of the tables will be decorated. We're bringing tables from the cafeteria outside to be decorated. We're going to be using those outside serving lines for food. So they're going to be entering through what used to be the old entrance into the stadium that'll be lit up in an arch after they come in, and the photographer will be right there outside the math science building. That'll be there. So it's going to be beautiful. I've seen the renderings. They've done some drawings of it. They've had the lighting company come in and provide them an example of what it's going to look like, and it's been a highly coordinated effort, and I'm looking forward to that event.
I think you may have already covered this. Students need to wear masks at the prom.
Yeah, they'll still need to wear a mask. That's all of us, and even the staff that are working it. We're all going to be wearing masks. Of course, if they're eating or drinking, they can take their mask off, but they will need to wear their mask during the prom. We just want to really make sure that we're doing this responsibly. We went from not having a prom in the fall to having a prom, but we just got to make sure that we do everything we can to mitigate the risk as much as possible.
And then 2 more questions, and then we'll move on. If a student is told they have the credits to graduate, when can they get the tickets for graduation? Oh, it's for graduation. It fooled me. I thought it said prom at the end.
Well, we'll
But
talk about tickets.
we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about tickets. That's coming. Yeah, that's a hot topic right now.
But this is a good one, though. Oh, no. Is there a plan B if the weather does not cooperate?
There is a plan B. Well, so I do want to talk about 2 things. Obviously, we really want our students to come. We want them to enjoy and have a good time. But we do hope that it doesn't happen. But if a student did test positive for COVID, or if a student showed up at the prom and they had a fever, the nurse is going to set a table aside that we'll have in an area that we have that's near where the check-in will be, that has air condition. And we're going to let that student sit, because we don't know if they've been running around, if the vehicle was really hot. They're going to let them sit for about 15 minutes to try to lower their temperature before they take their temperature again with the temperature gun. That would be the only reason why students would get a refund in that event. Now, we do have a plan B if it's forecasted and we're projecting for rain, and we may have to make a game time decision between Thursday and Friday of that, because Friday a lot of the companies are already coming to set things up for that evening. Then we will push it to the following Saturday. It is also still available, but we're hoping that nobody prays to the rain gods and we can keep the rain away for that evening. But we're hoping that the May weather will cooperate with us.
All right. So that is prom. You know what? I mean, you said it best, that, they get to have it. And then also the fact that, like, how much did you say someone else's prom was here in San Antonio?
$85.
$85.
I'm not going to say what Northeast school it is, but the principal is a friend of mine. But
oh man,
dropped. But in full honesty, really that evening's about the kids, and we really want them to have a good time, and that's why we're excited to be able to have it. And we just got to put some additional layers and measures in place to just make sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feels comfortable coming, and we really just want our kids to come and have a great time. We're starting it a little bit later than we normally do a prom at 8 p.m. And that's because we want it to get a little bit darker so the lights begin to take effect, but also so the temperature drops a little bit so it's not as hot. We've already worked with athletics. We're going to have several of those porta-cool fans that will be blowing air to keep everybody cool, especially near the dance floor. Our art department's been working on work that'll be, I don't want to spoil all of it, but I'll say there's been a group of teachers that have just been highly committed to make that night very, very special for kids. And yeah, the balcony seating is going to be amazing.
All right, so I think we need to move on. The big one, graduation. We saved the main event, I guess, till now. Yeah. So, Mr. McKay, tell us what's going on with graduation.
So I want to reiterate the importance behind the senior panoramic that evening. Is a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you tonight, we're going to share again with the seniors that evening and give a lot of handouts to them, speak a lot about it. So again, encourage your senior to be here that evening. One of those will be this letter from my office. It's not ready for publishing yet because we still got a few things that I need to get some extra eyes on it to make sure that it's there. But they'll be getting this letter. I want to touch the first thing, Mr. Oliver, can you go all the way down towards the bottom of it? Okay. And again, I don't necessarily need to read that to them. Keep going up a little bit. No, the other direction. My fault. There you go. Let's talk about rehearsal. So rehearsal is Wednesday, May 26th at 7:30 in the morning. There is no fee for parking, and we want our students to park in Lot A. Now, students are responsible to get their own transportation to the dome for rehearsal. And again, we want them to they either purchase their rehearsal shirt, which is always fun, and the senior class officers always do a great job designing those, or wear an ECHS shirt that's black and gold, and it just looks really sharp when we show up. They're actually going to be almost like one of the athletic teams that gets to perform there. They're going to go down from the A side entrance into the dome to be checked in. Now, here's the biggest thing that's important why they need to be there by 7:30 is every person, to include myself, will get their temperature taken before they'll be allowed to enter the dome. They will be wanded down and will have to go through a metal detector. They're on the backside of it as well. If they happen to have a bag, it has to be a clear bag. So ladies, leave your purses at home. They will not allow you to bring any bags in. And this is also on the day of graduation. So we know over 700, over 700 graduates are going to have to go through and be screened through their security areas, as well as get tested for COVID. Now, the big thing is this, whether you have your vaccination or not, everybody is required to wear a mask. That's at rehearsal, and that's at actually on the day of graduation. Now, understand this is run by the city of San Antonio, and so this is their requirement. There is a zero tolerance policy. So if that night, that morning, if a senior shows up and they're not wearing their mask, and one of the police officers from the Alamo Dome approach a student, they're going to get a warning, and essentially they're going to have their names going to be written down. They're going to be given a card. And if on the second time that student's caught with no mask, or a family member is caught on the day of graduation with no mask, they will be escorted off the premises. So we're going to have to be really diligent about that and making sure that when they get to the dome, when they start to head in, that mask is up, it's over their nose. We're doing the little things right. And rehearsal will go from 7:30 to 10 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, they'll need to have a ride home and they'll be able to leave. Mr. Oliver, can you pull up the map of the parking lots for the dome? Because I really want to show the students and the parents about where they're going to be parking. So parking for that event is actually in lot A. So if you look at the map, it is on the Cesar Chavez road. So when you take the Alamo Dome exit, you will turn right, and the first entrance that enters into the dome parking, that's going to be lot A. And that's where we'll park for rehearsals. So again, make sure you have your mask. Make sure that you don't bring a big bag or a purse or anything with you. Make sure you know that you're going to be, you're going to have to go through a metal detector, so you don't, other than your keys and maybe your cell phone, you really won't need a whole lot of other things with you. Make sure that you're wearing your rehearsal shirt, and you'll enter in through the south end of the dome, and you'll enter the same way on the day of graduation. So that's going to be the rehearsal. And rehearsal is very intense because we only really have, once we get you in the floor, we sit you down, we only have 2 hours to go through the whole event. And it takes a lot of mobilizing of our efforts. So we're going to need everybody on point. We're going to need everybody on time. And we're going to need all of our seniors ready to go. So any questions right now about rehearsal?
So this is rehearsal only?
Rehearsal only.
Yeah, we're talking about rehearsal only. I did want to repeat a couple of things. Clear bags only. So the students coming to rehearsal, clear bags only. Everybody is required to wear a mask, and this is both rehearsal and graduation on the mask wearing part. Non-mask wearers will be ejected after the second warning. And again, this is the city of San Antonio.
Yeah, it's not
this is not an East Central thing or anything like that. These are the Alamo Dome folks. And so they're going to be pretty strict on this, it seems like. And then parking lot A for rehearsal. And is it the same for graduation? Is that what you said, or no?
It will not be the same for graduation.
Okay, all right.
That's why I'm trying to break them up into two deals. They're going to have everybody, to include ourselves, everybody's going to park in lot A for rehearsals. And then for graduation, it alters.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a minute.
Okay, so parking lot A for rehearsal. I do see some questions here. How does one get a rehearsal shirt?
That is a great question, Ms. Evers. So all of their government and economics teachers have been shared that information, and it's on their Google Classrooms. But if you want, they can email alan.price@ecisd.net. And actually, let me look. I think I got the letter. In the letter that they're going to get at the Panoramic, it also has the web address that they can go to, because you can buy it online to be able to buy your shirt. But the biggest thing I would do is I'd reach out to either alan.price@ecisd.net or jennifer.anderson@ecisd.net, and they'll get you connected. They can share the link. but it was shared with the senior social studies teachers for them to share with them. And I believe it also went out through all of the other senior communication platforms. So maybe follow up with your senior and ask them to pull it up for you.
Sunday, Cantu says they're on the EC website.
Perfect.
So there you go.
And more than likely, that's the link that was shared with all the students. It just takes them to the EC website, which then goes through the store, and then they can purchase it. It's all touch free. You can buy it online with your credit card. My understanding is, and then they'll order the number that are in by by the deadline.
Veronica asked, can parents stay parked in the parking lot during rehearsal?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Much like the panoramic, it is a closed event that we know parents or outside guests allowed. It's only those that are associated directly with graduation or the senior panoramic. So, but there are parents that do stay in their vehicle while their student is in. And maybe I recommend there's a Bill Miller's right across the street. You can go grab yourself a breakfast or a cup of coffee. That's not too far away, or park your car there. There is no fee for parking that day for rehearsal, so you can park it and walk to a nearby restaurant and grab something to eat, and then maybe come back and they can meet you at the car. I think it's a great idea to do that if that's the case. The only parents that really will be allowed is if we have any of our students who have specific disabilities that may need some assistance to be there, and obviously their primary caregiver would be allowed to be there to provide assistance and support. And I'll be the first to say we unfortunately and very sadly we have lost 2 of our students who should have graduated in this class, and their parents will be there because we're going to get an opportunity to practice with them receiving their child's diploma that day. So we're really honored and humbled that we get to recognize them at graduation.
Gracie asked, so they are needing to have a negative COVID test for rehearsal?
No, there is no negative COVID test for rehearsal. That's just for prom. That's the only thing that we're requiring that for because of the intimate. And the reason why I say that is the dome is situated in such a way where they're going to be sitting that they are sitting 6 feet apart from the person on the front, the side, the back, in the way that they've marked out the spots as the seniors either line up in the back hallways or even when they come up behind the stage. The risk mitigation is already laid out for us. So we feel very confident. And plus with everybody getting their temperature taken before they enter and everybody having to wear a mask and the 6 feet being required, I think that takes care of itself. But no COVID test for a rehearsal or graduation.
And then Yvonne asked, what about students in the Leadership Academy? I think she means cast lead.
There are no seniors at cast lead right now. So
okay.
They're only freshmen.
Okay.
It'd be amazing if they were already getting ready to graduate, though.
They're like Dookie Howser,
Exactly.
How long is the rehearsal?
2 hours. So we got to be there at 7:30 because we got to get them screened in, and we got to start right away at 8 o'clock. I mean, promptly at 8. That means the students in their seats in the dome, where they got to find where they sit. They got to find their number. They got to go find where they sit in the audience. And then that way they can even make their parents aware of what section they're going to be sitting on. But it's 2 hours. We got to be done by 10 and get it. We have to be out.
And then Yvonne asked, will someone be taking random snapshots during these events?
We will have several of our journalism students that are be there. They'll be taking our yearbook. Teacher will also be there taking photos. And a lot of that will be shared. Of course, Mr. Oliver, your team will probably be there taking pictures and posting those for the website and things. So we will have plenty of people there. It's always it's a great day. I'm getting excited thinking about it.
Yvonne asked, and this isn't related to rehearsal, but this is the last question before we move on to graduation. Will the seniors have a senior day at Fiesta Texas?
If they go with their friends, absolutely. We didn't collect senior dues this year because it was such a fluid environment. There will be no senior trip this year. I mean, but based on some of the concessions that we've had to make, I'm willing to make that concession for an in-person graduation and make that concession for a prom and still being able to do senior panoramic. Unfortunately, we'd like to be able to do all of it. but we just we can't. There's some barriers that are beyond our control, and we don't control the pandemic.
Right. Yeah, that threw a major monkey wrench into things, especially with the senior dues. So, that's one of the unfortunate, losses there. So let's talk about graduation, the main day.
So this is going to be to the parents at the very beginning. Those same things that I just talked about that the students are going to be required at rehearsal are going to be required for all guests that arrive to the Dome. Graduation begins at 9 a.m. sharp. They are not going to open the doors until 8 a.m. So they're only opening the doors 1 hour before graduation begins. Now, what the Dome has assured us is that all of the egresses, all of the entrances will be open, but every patron that enters will have to have a mask, will have their temperature taken, and then they'll have to go through a metal detector, and then they'll get wanded down in only clear bags. They will not allow noisemakers. They will not allow big signs. So we just got to make sure that, again, this is a City of San Antonio facility. We got to be respectful of that, and plus we just got to know that they're gonna stop us at the gate if that's the case. If a patron has a fever, they will not be allowed admittance. If they're not wearing a mask, they will not be allowed admittance. So I would just make sure that any and all of the family that's coming, make sure that they have their mask, make sure if they do need to bring a bag, that it's a clear bag, and make sure that everybody knows that it will take a little bit of time to get through the check-in before they'll be allowed to go sit in their seats. The next thing, way different if you've been to any of our other graduations, and this is due to COVID, is that seats are assigned and they're done in pods. Excuse me. And the pods are a bit of a challenge for us, but we've got some plans that we're putting in place to put our best effort forward. And so I want everybody to know that a lot of that is beyond our control. We will be receiving the tickets from the Alamo Dome, and then based on those tickets that we have, we will be giving them to your graduates. And this is why rehearsal is so important and why every graduate needs to be at rehearsal. We're going to be giving your family's tickets to your graduate in their bag after they cross the practice stage. They will have their tickets given to them at that time to bring home to the family. So we're going to reiterate, take care of those tickets because we can't reprint them. So your senior will be given their tickets for the family at that event, and they'll just need to follow. Obviously, if you're going to a game, if you're going to watch UTSA, whether you're in section 100, section 200, or section 300, and then from there, they'll have ushers that'll help you to find your seats in your designated pods. Now, probably the seats I want to talk the most important about with parents right now is ADA. So our handicap seating. It is incredibly limited due to COVID. So we are going to be sending out in a few short weeks to our seniors and their parents, any of those that we have the recorded emails in our database. When we send it out to a parent link, we're going to be sending out a Google form. And it's only for you to fill out if you have a family member that has accommodations that need to be met. They're in a walker, they're in a wheelchair, they can only have access with a cane, and due to their disability, they have to have this designated seating because we have to give preference to them first because they're only in pods of 2. So let's say it's grandma and grandpa. Grandpa needs the seat, but grandma doesn't. Grandpa and grandma will get those 2 seats. Here's the challenge behind all of it. We cannot guarantee that the remainder of the family will be able to sit in that area because the pods are kind of designated all over the place in the Dome. Now we're going to do the very best we can to try to organize by cluster, but the big key is we're able to get seats and we're able to get people in there. We're able to get them in efficiently and as best that we can. And again, visiting with my friends that are also graduating at the Dome, they're going through the same level of challenges. But our first priority, obviously, is to find out which families, which graduates will have family attending that need and require ADA seating so we can make sure that we take care of those families first. And then beyond that, we are going to be sending out a second Google form that's not ready yet to all the seniors to tell us the number of tickets that their family needs. Now, here's what I can guarantee. We can guarantee that every graduate will have 4 tickets in a pot of 4 sitting together. So the example would be, mom, dad, brother, and sister, or mom, dad, sister, and sister's friend, or a cousin. Okay. But we're going to guarantee that every graduate will get 4 tickets in a pod together. Anything beyond 4 that is requested by the family, we cannot make assurances that the family will all be able to sit together. We did not designate the pods. They have pods of 2, pods of 4, pods of 6, and pods of 8. And I think you can understand as you move up, there's far less numbers of those. So we may have a pod of 4 here, and then you may request a total of 8 tickets. So then we may give your student an additional pod of 4, but it may be on the other side of the arena, or it may be up above you guys. So the big thing is, I just want everybody to know that's way different from the Coliseum, is how your whole family would be able to sit together and take up almost a whole row because of the way that they're due to the social distancing guidelines that the Alamo Dome has established. Pods are random based on spacing, and the tickets are produced by Ticketmaster, and we have no control over that. But what I can tell you is we're going to do our very best to accommodate every family to give you the tickets that you need. So what we tell our seniors every single year, and we will reiterate till the cows come home, is that it will be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as we always encourage that you invite immediate family and extended family. Have them enjoy it from the comforts of their home. They don't have to worry about going through all of the other processes to enter. And then therefore, then when the graduation's over, go back and the whole family can be there ready for a nice get together family event and enjoy and celebrate together. So we're really encouraging the seniors again that it be immediate family only. Really, if you're requesting tickets, request exactly what you need, because here's what, my fear is maybe a graduate requests, 30 tickets. And first, we may not even be able to give 30 tickets. That's going to be really, really tough. But let's just say we were able to give that senior 30 tickets. And another family requested 8. But because we gave the 30 out, but they only used 12, they had 18 left over, but we couldn't accommodate the 8. They had 4 family members that may not be able to come. So we're really asking you to be genuine with the numbers that will actually be able to attend. And that we don't go, I hate to say go crazy with the number, because then we may have to reach out to your senior and have some conversations. Really, we've capped it that the max is 12, but we're flexing on that number because there may be some graduates that only need 4, and the rest of the family is going to watch it at home, and then they're going to go join when it's over because they don't want to worry about bringing all of the extended family and grandma and grandpa into the dome. And then we may have some that do need all 12. And we just want to make sure that everybody knows that we can't guarantee the seating will be together, and we can't guarantee that we can give you every seat, but we're going to do our very best, and we're going to work incredibly hard like we always will, and we always do, to make sure that our seniors are honored and their family is able to attend at the very best that we can. So I think there's only one other thing I want to be able to say, Mr. Oliver, before I know there's probably a million questions that are coming right now, is that the same things that I've mentioned about with the seniors and the masks are going to be really important at that event. And they're going to do the same thing with the adults. You get one warning, you're given a card. On the second warning, they've been adamant, and this comes from our chief of police through their police department, who's going to be, in their security that's going to be there, that they're being very clear that we have to make sure that we're wearing those masks. They will have concessions available for anybody that wants to go buy food and drink. And probably the biggest thing I want to say before I answer any of the questions is parking is $20 for everybody. And you'll park in lots B and C. So I don't know, Brandon, if you can pull up that map. So we're even encouraging our seniors to ride with their families to come to graduation. But can you pull up that parking map again, Mr. Oliver?
Yes. Let's see. Hold on just a second, y'all.
And I know this is information overload. Trust me, when we got with the dome, I felt like I was drinking out of a fire hose. So I get it and I know, but we'll continue to repeat it. But lots B and C are on the eastern side of the Alamo Dome. So you can see lot B. We're encouraging the seniors, if you're riding with your families or you're driving yourself, park in lot B because that's closer to your south end entrance. So if you can kind of show them, Brandon, how it goes to the south end of the dome, that'll be where the graduates will be entering. And that'll be their check-in spot. But then if you're coming or if you have your graduate with you, you can park in lot B, but everybody else can park in lot C. And they have plenty of parking to accommodate our capacity inside of the dome for that event, which, by the way, even with COVID restrictions, right now the projected capacity is more than we were able to get even in the Coliseum. So we're excited about that. But we know all the other families will be excited as well. But we just got to make sure that immediate family is the priority. And then if you have extended, maybe encourage some to stay. And then we try to limit so other families can have the opportunity to go and see their graduate attend, at that really great event.
All right. So yes, there are a lot of questions. Let me.
Don't let me forget too, Mr. Oliver, is after we answer questions about this, I want to talk more about also go back to the senior side and what they need to know for that event that morning as well. I want to talk about the graduates after we maybe answer the parent questions. Yes.
First question. Yeah. We'll be able to buy pictures of them getting diploma.
Absolutely. So of course, with COVID, we've had to make a few adjustments, but we do already have our photographer already in place. Every graduate will not only in that same envelope that we told them they'll get at rehearsal, that will have the information regarding the photographer in it, but that day of, they'll get their picture after they cross the stage. First, when they get to the stage, I'll fist bump them. They'll go over, they'll get to fist bump the superintendent, one of the board members. They'll stand with their diploma cover. They'll get a picture with their diploma cover with our photography company, which, by the way, does UTSA, does Incarnate Word, does Texas State, does most high schools in the area. And last year they did a fantastic job. Everything is ordered by their website, and they'll mail the pictures directly to your house. They'll show you the proofs. You get to pick which proofs you want. After you get your picture on the stage with the diploma, you actually will go backstage. You'll receive your actual physical diploma that you'll put inside there and some other information from the counselors. They'll have a backdrop. They'll get to stand in front of the backdrop. The photographer will take the picture in the backdrop, and then they'll reverse out and go back out and sit on the floor. We will have a professional photographer there taking pictures. And then with the information they get from the photography company, they just go in, punch in their code that they were given for their picture. And then that's how you'll be able to access all of their photos digitally and determine which package you want to buy and then order the package.
Jules asked, going back to the panoramic, does the senior panoramic have to be in school dress code?
Yes, ma'am. That definitely, that's a picture that goes on the wall forever. And we're going to have a banner made just like last year's that's going to go up across at the tennis courts for this year's senior class as well. It's a new tradition that we began. So yeah, we do want them to be as best as they can. I understand sometimes outfits and dresses, having a high school daughter as well, and having a high school son that went through here. Sometimes it's easier said than done to make sure, but collared shirts for the guys, and we try to do Sunday best for the ladies.
And then going back, signage allowed, like the fat heads. Apparently 410 printing was promoting the big heads, but
that can maybe be at your party at the house, but the dome will not. They were adamant in our meeting with them. They will not allow any signs, noisemakers, any of that. Then you got to remember, you're going to get wanded down, and you got to have a clear bag. And so it's not like the Coliseum, where we could probably, I'm just going to say, maybe my own family snuck in a picture for my son when he graduated several years ago. But they won't allow that in because of the way they're doing the check-in process.
Yvonne asks, so no face photos of our senior. Everybody's wearing masks, correct?
Well, at graduation, no, that they are what the dome is allowing, and we're very grateful of it, is right before they go onto the stage, I'm going to have one of our assistant principals there remind them, take your mask off, unless obviously if they don't feel comfortable, if they want to wear the mask because they're coming, but if they're comfortable, you can take your mask off. So as they come and I get a chance, I normally shake hands many times seniors hug or those kind of things, but because of COVID, we'll probably elbow or foot bump or do some different things. They'll go across, get their picture with their mask off on the stage. They'll go down the ramp, and then their picture in the back will be without their mask. And then they'll be told to put their mask on before they go back out on the floor. So all of those pictures that'll happen on the stage and behind the stage will be without their mask. Unless they're
okay. Caps, can graduates decorate them?
No, that for us, we'll have that conversation with the seniors, but what we really want to do is we want to be able to pay respects to every graduate that's on the floor. And so what we've had a standing rule for years that, do that when you go to college and you graduate from college. They allow you to have a little bit more liberty to do that. But because this is we want this to be a revered event, and we really want to make sure that every senior gets the honor and has the opportunity to be recognized as all other seniors that get a chance to cross the stage. So that's why we ask that they do not color the top of their caps. And I will say Balfour will be there in the back. So if there's some kind of wardrobe mishap and the cap breaks, or they lost their cap, or the gown happened to rip, they always have backups. And we also have staff back there with bobby pins and all kinds of things to help the graduates to get ready before we go out. But Larry with Balfour has always been fantastic at being back there and providing that stuff for free for students that may have lost something or had a mishap or the tassel fell. So there's kind of a little go kit.
Does a East Central High School staff member who has a senior still count as a ticket, even if volunteering that morning?
No. If they're going to be on the floor and with the rest of the staff, no, ma'am, Miss Martinez. You're the family. So if you get the automatic 4 and that's what you need, then that can go to other people in your family. Because if you're planning on being on the floor, now, of course, if you want to sit with your family in that event because you want to be able to enjoy it that way, then obviously you'll be able to get what you need.
And then I've got a couple questions about toddlers, lap kids. What is the age limit for a lap kid, and do toddlers need a ticket?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will double check. They actually sent us a FAQ from the actual dome, and that question came up. And I don't want to make it up, but I wanted to double check. It's if they're at the age of 3 or older, they count as a ticket. So if they're younger than 3, they can sit in your lap. But if they're 3 or older, I don't know if they're going to be checking birth certificates at the gate for any small child. But what they said is if it's a child of 3 years of age or older, they get a ticket.
If they have a SUMA senior that has to be there early, will they need to still wait until 8 to enter?
We're going to try to negotiate as best that we can, but yes, they'll need to be there still at 8. And then we have something for them that we pull them out because we actually enter them into the arena earlier, take a picture with them at the stage. So we'll work through that. We ask them to get there early because we like to get that group photo together, and then they have to get their individual photos first because they won't have time to get their individual photo like all the other graduates. So they actually get their individual before they even get onto the stage. So we reverse it out. So they'll be fine.
How early do the graduates need to be there?
We highly are recommending 7:30 and be ready to enter when we open the doors. Well, when the Alamo Dome opens the doors for the graduates to enter in their spot, just so they're ready to go.
And again, going back to parking, it is $20 per car, per vehicle, right? And then will they charge for parking on rehearsal day?
0 charge for parking at rehearsal. There is no charge for that, only on the day of graduation. So we're highly encouraging seniors, if they're coming on their own, to carpool together, families to load up as much as you can safely, obviously, and following, motor vehicle laws and those kinds of things.
No clown cars.
Yeah, we don't want that, or anybody riding in the beds of trucks. Just want everybody to get here safely. But, and I can't make any assurances that, as if you were to go to any dome event, if anybody around the area is going to be, of course, that's at your own risk. If you wanted to park off the dome site and pay $5 and park in somebody's backyard, But I would.
That's at your own risk.
That's at your own risk. I mean, and I've been in that situation before, and we've taken that risk. And there've been other times I'm like, I'm not taking that risk. I'd rather just park in the lot. But it is $20 on the day of graduation.
And Chalonda, again, it's only $20 for parking. Tickets, there's no charge for the tickets.
Zero charge. The district has paid for the tickets. We have already bought all of those with our fees with the Alamo Dome. That is paid for the tickets. The $20 is for per vehicle, so it's per car.
Are the lots marked B and C?
They are.
Yeah, there's plenty of signage at Alamo Dome.
Yes, and they'll be obviously they're going to have a lot of their staff that'll be there. Waving fans on, or the parents and everybody on. We always encourage everybody leave a little bit earlier than what you normally thought, because inherently every year, I mean, I've done 16 graduations at an event, whether it be now at the Dome, but at the Coliseum. Last year was the only mulligan that we had it here on campus, but at one of these events, invariably, and I'm just saying, I don't know why, somebody decides to do construction on a main road that leads to wherever event we're going to that delays entering into that facility. So even if you have to sit in your car for a little bit longer than you normally would have, I would just highly encourage you to leave plenty of time to get there. So you've got plenty of time to get, and then not be rushed to get to the door, to get to the gates. Now, yes, the tickets are pre-printed, but we would hate for a graduate to come in late, or we would hate for any of the parents to maybe miss the grand entrance that we do with our seniors, with all the pomp and circumstance.
Cash or credit card for pictures?
The pictures are all bought online, so it'll all be through card. I would imagine they probably do PayPal. They probably now do Apple Pay like everybody's doing.
Let's see here. Let's see. Do we have to be in dress code for graduation, even though we have the gown over?
There are some things. So first thing is look at the decorum of your shoes. Make sure that your shoes are respectful of an event that's designed to celebrate and be ceremonial for everybody. The other thing is hair color is obviously a big thing. We don't need anything that's distracting. And I want to say a natural hair color, not necessarily your natural hair color, but a natural hair color, purple, pinks, and blues and things like that. Just for that event, let's keep it to a neutral tone. And then the very day or that afternoon or the next day, go crazy. I personally don't have a problem with it. But the other thing would be things like facial piercings. And then, you still do see part of the gown or part of what's underneath the gown below it. Now, we do wear hoods. And if you've got additional regalia that you wear, that does partially cover it. But that's why we tell men to wear a collared shirt, because you can see the collar. It looks really nice. And of course, for the gentlemen, jeans and boots. Although we are at East Central, we ask that you wear some nice slacks. And of course, I don't know anybody who doesn't have maybe some dress boots, but maybe if you wore boots, wear some dress boots, something that looks a little bit nicer.
Deborah asks, she's like, whew, are we going to get all this in writing? I'm saturated.
Yeah, your son will get that at the panoramic that day. They'll get a letter from me. Plus, they're going to get a bulleted like reminders, key dates, and so we're going to try to make it as simple but also as comprehensive as we can. But yes, I would agree. It is a lot. That's why I thought, well, I don't want to just tell the seniors. I want to be able to hold a parent meeting as well, just to make sure that this all gets conveyed.
And you can also go back and watch this video at any time, just because we're live. This video, whatever you took to get here, whether it was YouTube or Facebook, you can access it at any time. Fast forward, go back, whatever the case may be. Isis asks, some students have family members coming in from other states. How can I find out to make sure my child will be graduating? Man,
that's a great question. I would reach out to your child's counselor and get an update. And obviously you have opportunities to go into Texas Connect and check their grades, make sure they're there. But the counselor has a full comprehensive list. I will tell you, we've, for about 2/3 of the year, we have a senior on track team that has been tracking students. We've made 524 home visits. going to houses to try to figure out what we need to do to support our seniors. I know we've made several adjustments in endorsements and graduation plans just so we can help seniors to meet that goal of graduating. So I would definitely, Ms. Morales, I would reach out to your child's counselor just to make sure that they're on point for that, and know that we've got plans B, plan C, and plan D, and we're doing everything we can. We know that this pandemic has affected our students tremendously, their families tremendously. There's been loss, there's been grief, there's been isolation. And so I know our teachers have been trying to weigh all of that in play, and we're reminding them and having many conversations. And we've done everything, and we're going to continue to do everything that we can to support our seniors. I think the big thing that we just need them to do is, we know senioritis is a real thing. I've been in this job long enough to know that it happens. And we know with COVID, it makes it even tougher, but we just need them to finish strong, get their assignments in, ask help if they need it from their teacher, show up every day, whether it's online or whether they're coming to school. Somebody asked the other day, can we do a senior skip day? I'm like, no, you need to be here every day right now. Every day matters at this point. But that's a really good question, Ms. Morales, and don't hesitate to reach out to my office. And I'll be happy to help in any way if you're not getting your answers in an expedient manner, and I'll make sure we follow up.
Krista asked, how will you sit the families with 2 or more graduates? Yeah,
so wow, that's a great. I do know we have I think we've got a couple sets of twins, so that's a great question. That'll be something what we really need to do is put our heads together. Yeah. Obviously, working with the family, how many do they need? But as I stated before, each graduate will get 4. So if mom and dad and maybe a brother and sister decide to sit in that 4, and the other one has another set of 4, and they want to give that to grandma and grandpa, right, and aunt and uncle, then they can go sit together in that 4. And if there's any additional, then we'll do our best to try to farm that out. Unfortunately, it's just almost impossible to keep everybody together in that same location. But that is a great point. I think it'd be really, really important for us to make sure we get that right.
Cameras, can they bring their own cameras into the stadium? The big fancy ones with the lenses, the DSLR cameras, can they bring those?
Yeah, I have not read anything, Ms. Brewer, that they would not be allowed to bring their own cameras. We're talking about the parents and spectators. What I will say is we're paying extra to run the jumbotrons. And the reason why we're doing that is we know that some of the families may be sitting quite a ways away, but according to the dome, you can get really, because of those picture qualities on those big jumbotron screens is pretty sharp. And what they've recognized in other graduations in the past is the families will take pictures of their child crossing the stage on one of those big jumbotrons. Mm-hmm. But yes, I've not read anything that it says cameras are prohibited.
To clarify, tickets are assigned seating, so there's no rush to try to find the best and closest seat. So yes, there's no bum rushing at the door. I mean,
yeah,
you don't have assigned seats.
Yeah, it's not first come, first serve. Those seats are assigned. So they're working right now. They reached out to us today on what wording we want, East Central High School class of 2021 on the actual tickets. But they're being printed by Ticketmaster. So once we get them, we're getting them in bundles by pod. And then it's going to be a massive Tetris game to try to figure out and then go through first thing we're going to do is obviously the ADA requests, get those kids earmarked for those. And then from there, any additional requests to be on the 4 that families reach out to, do our very best to earmark each kid with that. But seats are assigned because of the COVID protocols. So there is no saving seats, and there's no need to rush to try to get there to get the first seats.
Yeah. So no trampling.
No
saving seats.
Remember, I believe my understanding is all of the doors that enter in that are available will be open. And so I think the goal is to get everybody in as expeditiously as we can after going through the screeners. So I think it will be a fairly smooth process.
From where are the seniors exiting from after the graduation? Is it the same place that they're entering?
It actually is not. They're actually going to be exiting the north end. So they're going to be coming in the south, and then when the event is over, my understanding is they'll be exiting out the northwest and northeast exit through the HEB Plaza. That's a great question. So they're going to be exiting at the HEB Plaza area on the northwest. They'll be coming in the south and exiting when the event is over. They will be making multiple reminders. Please no congregating. Please go straight to your vehicles. Please leave, because there's two reasons why. Number one, they've got to come through and completely disinfect the entire dome, and we are paying for that. But the other thing is we have a graduation right behind us that they're going to be trying to get in and getting those folks parked, which is about 3 hours after ours, which is not a lot of time for them to get the parking lots cleared, get the dome clean, get everything reorganized. So my recommendation is once it's over, head straight to your vehicle. Your senior can either meet you at your vehicle and then just head home and get all the pictures that you can as a family at your family get together.
Do you know when the seniors get their cap and gown from Balfour?
May 6th and 7th, they're being delivered here. That'll be something we go over at Panoramic, and they'll get that on the important dates, but they're being delivered here to the high school, and they'll be in several spots, cafeteria, library, and the main entrance of the school.
And then will those shirts for rehearsal, are they going to be mailed home or delivered at the school?
I would imagine they'll probably be here at the school, and we'll just have a couple of days where seniors can come by and pick them up. I'm making an assumption to save on money. We're just going to have them delivered here, and the students can come by and pick them up.
How long will the graduation ceremony last?
2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah,
there we go.
We got it down.
And again, we do want to point out the seats. Blanca asked who decides where each family sits. This isn't an East Central thing. The Alamo Dome and Ticketmaster are doing this, correct?
Right, and that's kind of the point that we're making. We paid a premium charge to get the most available seating that we could get, because we want to have our family and community to be able to enjoy that morning with us. But we have no way of being able to control where the different parts of the family may have to sit. We're just going to do our best to get you the number of tickets that you may need to accommodate your family. If there is a way that we cannot accommodate, then we'll make sure we reach out to the senior to have the conversation to say, we're not going to be able to get you 16 tickets, but we can get you 12, depending on where we're at. Of course, I don't want to use hard numbers, because
right,
very fluid, like everything else that we've had to learn to work through with COVID.
And Stephanie's questioning is kind of in the same area. Will where the child sits be taken into consideration on the side the pod is assigned? Again, I don't think that's something Alamo Dome and Ticketmaster is going to be considering, correct?
Right, exactly. I think if they're the age of 3 or above, they will be in a seat. So that will take up one of the seats in the pod.
All right. And then by what day will they know how many tickets, in case they need to order extra, they have family members they need to request off from work and plan ahead?
Yeah, so in full transparency, Mr. De Leon, our graduation committee is going to meet again next week. We're still trying to map out what that plan will look like, but really what we're hoping to do is get that out by, at the bare minimum, the first week in May. So we have plenty of time to we'll give the families and the seniors 1 week to put in their request. And then after that, we'll close the form. And then our goal is by the second week. So only in the event that we can't accommodate would you get a contact. So an example is, Mr. De Leon, let's say you ask for 12. I'm pretty certain we'll be able to get you 12. If you ask for more than 12, I cannot make any assumptions that I can get you more than 12. I can tell you that with certainty. So I can pretty much rest assured that you can get that, because based on our seating capacity and the number of graduates that we're going to have, we can do that and accommodate that well. Only will we reach out to you if we can't accommodate the number that you requested. So for us, it would be no news is good news. If you ask for 12, we're going to put in 12. And then obviously your senior will get their tickets on the day of rehearsal. If there was some kind of confusion or human error does happen, as much as we try to be precise in everything that we do, we're faulty and we make mistakes. So if there is something that is not, then obviously we would have that afternoon on Wednesday, we would have all day Thursday, and we'd have all day Friday to make corrections as best that we can.
We'll do until 7:15, so we'll do a couple more questions for a few more minutes. I want to be respectful of your time. Um, who do they need to contact for an additional ticket?
We're going to send out a Google form. So just wait for the Google form. We're going to send it to your senior, and we're also going to send it to any of the parents who have their email address in our system. Just like for tonight's announcement for this event, we'll send it out that way as well. We'll probably even put it on our website for us to be able to have. So if parents haven't been able to access it because for some reason that the email address was incorrect or had changed, but we will send it to all of the seniors. So have a conversation with your senior and say, I'm looking for that, but we're hoping to get that out by the first week of May.
Are we only using half of the dome?
Yeah, so we took a tour of it, and that's at all graduations. Essentially, they have a partition, and so if you would imagine if you went to one of the Spurs games and you kind of saw the configuration of the Spurs games, how it was pushed over and they were using, and then they have these other seats that came in. So I would say it's probably, because they're spacing it out a little bit, it's a little bit less than half of the dome.
Okay. All right. And I think just maybe recap one more time, the ticket, the procedure and the protocol for the tickets. Just to recap it for some of the parents that came in late, we do talk about tickets at the very beginning of our conversation about graduation, but if you can kindly just briefly recap what the procedure will be.
So all graduates will get 4 tickets. If we need beyond 4 tickets, we're going to be sending out a Google form to all of our seniors if they need additional tickets. And at that time, they'll get with their families, and then they'll fill the form out and submit the form, and that will tell us how many additional tickets that they need. And then what we'll do is we will mark it, we'll put it in their envelope for rehearsal, and when they come through rehearsal, they'll receive their envelope, and that will have their tickets inside. We'll probably, while they're there, if we have time, we're going to ask them to look inside your envelope, make sure you have the right number of tickets. If you lose them, there's nothing we can do about it because we can't reprint those tickets. So that's really going to be the goal. But I will say by next week, we're going to be sending out the ADA tickets, because that for me right now is the biggest priority, because those seats are very limited. So anybody that knows that they have family that are coming that will need those handicap seats, we've got to earmark them first with those graduates. So if I can impress upon anybody, look for that one. We'll be sending that out, and you only need to fill the ADA seat one out if you have somebody that's going to need those tickets. No need to do it, because there's only one answer, and that's yes, when you fill the form out for that. So hopefully that makes sense. By the first of May, the next Google form will go out, and that will be what additional requests that you have. And I'll make sure it's really clear at the top. Every graduate will be receiving 4 tickets in a pot of 4. Beyond that, how many additional tickets will you need? So will it be 1? Will it be 2? Will it be 3, 4, 5, 6? And then from there, we'll do our very best to try to accommodate everybody. But I just want to make everybody aware, pot of 4 may be down in the 100 section in a certain area. And then the next pot of 4 or 6 may be in the 200 level, or maybe even up in the 300 level. We have because there's these odd counts on these numbers of seats. Hopefully that makes sense.
It does. And Paul, we're trying to help you out. He has 2 questions. I'm sorry, but when will he get that form? And then he also asks, what if he doesn't receive the Google form?
Well, if he doesn't receive his Google form, then we'll need you or him to reach out to the high school, and we'll make sure that we get that to him. But we have a way of making sure through our campus technology coordinator that Google form goes in every one of their emails directly that's in the system. So they'll get it directly in their email. Plus, we'll probably have all of our senior teachers put it on their Google Classroom. Plus, we'll probably send it all to them through Parent Link. Plus, we'll send it to all the parents who have it through Parent Link. Plus, we'll put it on our website. But that'll be in the first week of May that we're going to put that out. And the goal, and we will have to close it. And that's a great question.
First week of May. And then I think we just need some clarification. Will the pot of 4 be mainly in the 100 section for parents? Again, what Mr. McKay was saying was a hypothetical. Don't think that all the pods of 4 are going to be in a 100 section. That's not going to be the case.
So I'm gonna show you a form, and this is what the Alamo Dome sent us. And I just want you to look at the craziness in the numbers. So you get an idea that on this form, we only have like 14 pods of 4 in this section. We only get 60 pods of 4 in this section. We may get 100 pods of 4 in that section. So for us, the big thing is separate them by pods, make sure every kid gets what they need first. And then after that, what were the requests? Where do we have pods? Can we find some near the area? Do our best to kind of organize those for 700 plus graduates as close and as quickly as we can. It's just, yeah. If you ever played Tetris and it's on the super fast rate, that's what it kind of feels like.
Right. So Angelica, please do not think that because that was a hypothetical. It's going to be interesting. Like you said, it's going to be like a game of Tetris. 2 more questions, and then we got to call this one for a night. If we have 2 graduates, will their tickets count as one family?
No, that'll be every graduate will get 4. So each graduate will get a set of 4. So if you have 2 graduates, you'll still get 2 sets. Every graduate will get an envelope. It'll have all their regalia in it, and there'll be. I do have a few more things to say before we close out, Mr.
Okay.
But they'll get an envelope at rehearsal that has all their regalia that they've earned inside of it, as well as some letters of congratulations from some senators and some congressmen, some other information about the photographers that'll be there that day. But one of the other things they'll have is their tickets that will be in there. So each graduate will get their own set of 4 that'll be in there. So obviously, if you have 2 graduating, you're going to get 8 tickets for automatic.
And then last question here. So the form is for additional tickets only.
And we'll make sure that we clearly mark it only for additional tickets. And we'll have on there, every graduate's getting 4. If you need more than 4, please indicate here. And how many exactly.
Man, there was a good one that rolled in. I got to ask, what if parents create a chat or communication or some sort of some sort to trade tickets to be closer to their families?
I won't stop it. Again, we're going to do our best to try to cluster them as close as we can together, but we can't make any assurances. The key is everybody, well, if we get in, we'll get a good seat and get to enjoy an in-person graduation, which that's the thing I'm most excited about. But if Miss Ann, if you would like to do that, I'm not going to say anything else about it on my end because that's beyond my control.
Right. All right. So I know you did have some things that you want to close this thing out with. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
So this is for the seniors, and I think it's really important. Just a few things I'm going to remind them about is the regalia. So our goal on the regalia is that we want to be able to recognize every student who has earned those that have been associated with the school. So we do know that there are outside organizations that from time to time provide regalia, sometimes for profit. An example would be like Who's Who in American high school students, and then they offer you to buy a stole for $100. Please know that those companies are doing those things for profit. And so know that the graduation committee has to approve any and all regalia that's worn because A, we want to be able to document it in our program. And that way everybody knows what the cords and everything means. But B, for some families or for some students who may not have the financial means to provide these additional regalia things, although very well earned, we want to make sure that we have some equity in that. The other thing that I think is really important is for those of you that are considering joining the military or you have already met with a recruiter, we really need you to get with Miss Lauren Brim Long. She's our college and career military readiness advisor. There are a couple of reasons why. Is A, we have to document that, and she acknowledges that, but we also want to acknowledge it in our program, and we acknowledge you that day and thank you for your willingness to make that sacrifice to serve our country. But we also, you earn a red, white, and blue cord, and we have to get those ordered and we have to get those in. So I know we have a little bit of a lag this year, and I know it's due to COVID. But if we can get you to get with Ms. Brim Long, if you've already started that process, and she can walk you through what you need to be able to provide. And the reason why we say that is we know that some recruiters in the past have offered stoles based on their armed services. And being that I'm the son of a Marine who is a drill instructor and lived that life growing up, I completely understand and the sacrifices that are being made, but not all branches provide those stoles. So that's why we came up with the red, white, and blue cord to recognize those that are joining the military moving forward. So if they give you any additional, I recommend that if you want to take family photos with those, if you want to take pictures after the event or even before the event. And sometimes I notice as we get closer to graduation, seniors and their parents come up in the evenings and they're taking pictures on campus. I think those are fantastic and I love to see them. But just make sure that if you got questions about regalia, you reach out to your counselor or reach out to administration, that's the case. And then the last thing I think I want to really talk about is the day of graduation. Seniors, please give yourself plenty of time to get there. Please be ready and outside by 7:30. So when we open the gates, they will be taking your temperature. If by chance you are running a fever, they will, just like we're doing for prom, they're going to give you a little seating area for about 15 minutes, and they're going to allow you a second opportunity to get your temperature taken. If it does come out a fever again, they're going to turn you away. Please know that's not East Central. Please know that that's not ECISD. That is the city of San Antonio's policy and guidelines. We can't control that. So do everything you can. And we don't want you running in the parking lot and possibly running a fever because you've been, really exhausting yourself. We're also recommending that when you get out of your vehicle, you already have all of your gown and everything on as you walk up. It'll be less for you to have to worry about carrying or dropping or losing. So again, we're really excited about that event. We're going to recommend you leave your cell phone in your car. Do not bring it into the dome. You may even just want to be able to leave it at home because again, you're going to be wanded down. You're going to have to go through metal detectors just like everybody else that's entering the Alamo Dome. But it's going to be a great event. We just need you to finish strong. You're so close to the top of that mountain. Let's just continue to dig deep. Give it all we got, and we'll be there before we know it. We'll look back with a lot of pride and what we've been able to overcome, what you have done, and something that the message I send to the seniors all the time. Graduation is all about you, but it's also not about you. It's all about you because you have earned the opportunity to be recognized with your family and friends that are there, but it's also about how you honor them in everything that they've done to sacrifice for you to be able to be there that day and across that stage. So we want to do that in a respectful manner. And we want to honor everybody in your life that has come into contact with you, that has had an influence from your family, from your mentors, from your pastors, from your friends, from your coaches, from your teachers, your counselors, anybody that's had a way for you to be able to do that. So let's not let that go in vain. Let's continue to stay the charge because those people that have done everything they can for you to get to where you're at today are counting on you to finish strong. And so don't let them down. Do everything you can. Seek help if you need help. Let us know what we can do to take care of you and support you. And we're really looking forward to panoramics next week on Wednesday. We're really looking forward to prom on May 8th. We're really looking forward to rehearsal on the 26th. And we're really looking forward to graduation on May 29th.
Is there a place that, maybe we didn't get a chance to answer a question, or maybe they have questions after, this? Oh, yeah, that's right. Is there a place that they can email or go to have their questions answered?
There is a senior information page on our website. I don't know. Can you pull our website up really quickly? I believe it is a senior information page. If you go to the high school, and I'm having to go back to the recesses of my brain, but because I saw it today and I can't remember how we accessed it. Go back up. I don't think it's down there. And well, maybe it was down in the corner. I saw a lot of links down in the bottom right-hand corner. This page has got a lot on it. Go back up. Was there graduation announcements?
campus announcements.
Oh, yeah, go back down. I apologize. It is on our website. I know there's a senior page with information that's on there. One more time. I know we've got everybody's waiting on hold, and I apologize. I don't have the spot that's there. Yeah, go back.
Yeah, we missed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's on there. I promise you it's on there. We just got to go. Maybe if you hit the search real quick, I know there's a lot of people waiting. If you hit the search in the top corner, type in senior and see what comes up. There it is.
All right.
Wow. So, okay, there it is.
We'll put that on the homepage. We'll put that on the district homepage as well.
That's a great idea.
The link to it.
I knew I saw it. I knew it's out there. A lot of these documents that our kiddos will be getting next week at Panoramic will be placed on this site as well once they're all finalized. And then again, everything that we talk about will be on there as well. So
it looks like the Go Center is always a place that people can go to.
I'll tell you what, Miss Brimlong is the best. She is amazing. We are so lucky to have her, and a former East Central graduate. So it's great to have her back home.
So you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna post a banner that says questions, email hs.gocenter@ecisd.net. That's a really, really good resource. But yes, we'll add the senior page to the overall district homepage as well. So that way you can get all that valuable information. So again, and then a good resource, hs.gocenter@ecisd.net. Laura is going to be ready to respond to all of your questions and needs, and all that. All right, so I do want to recognize your time, Mr. McKay. So we are at 1 hour and 30 minutes. I do encourage those that are watching, if we covered something maybe you missed, go back and watch at the beginning. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can pause. This will always live here. Even closer to the dates, you can always go back and look at this video. You can email that address right there. And then, of course, you can always call the office at the high school, right?
Absolutely. And either feel free to reach out to counseling or reach out to the high school administrative office. And we've got plenty of people that will either take your message and somebody call you back, or they'll be able to give you the answers that you need in short order.
All right. So we are going to call this a night. But Mr. McKay, I'll leave you with the final thought, and then we'll say goodnight.
I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And I know it was a lot, and everybody was drinking out of a fire hose, but we're going to continue to try to break it down into manageable parts and continue to give you the information that you need. So I just want to tell you guys how much we appreciate and love you. And I'm really looking forward to spending those days with our seniors as we come to their conclusion. And to our seniors, never forget, once a Hornet, always a Hornet, and we are EC.